Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It is the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. A little premature there, but here we go. Just how we like it. On the Cam Show, I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week, talking nothing but Boston sports. On today's show, we're going over this crucial Game 4. Who the pressure is actually on, the Celtics or the Knicks? Plus, we will have some more on Rafi Devers, from bad teammate to most important player on the team. Think you can argue that? I don't think they're trading him anymore. Then we will have the great Pete Souza on for the third segment, talking a little Celtic City and talking a little shooting guards on Netflix, which was an interesting watch. All that and more coming up on this episode of The Cam Show. We start with, of course, the Celtics. Celtics, Knicks, Game 4 tonight. Whomever wins this Game 4 between the Celtics and the Knicks will be winning the series. I don't think that's a hot take. If the Knicks go up 3-1, I don't care what the excuse is for the Celtics. I don't care that it's, they shot 25% from three again. That's not going to happen again. Or, look at the foul disparity or anything like that. At 3-1, you're done. 3-1, the Knicks have better closers than you right now. They're going to beat you. At 2-2, if the Celtics do anything close to what they did on Saturday at Madison Square Garden, take that crowd out of it early, and win the second game in a row, and even though it's a tie series, I think you would have to think that the Celtics have all the momentum at that point. They would have home court advantage, which clearly hasn't been much in this series, but could help you in a Game 7 scenario if it gets to there. So whomever wins this game tonight, this Game 4, is going to win the series. And I couldn't help but thinking after the game on Saturday that this is how cruel the NBA can be. The pressure is all on the Knicks now. They lost one game in the series, one home game. They played pretty poorly in the first 3 quarters of each of their first 2 games. Played poorly in all 4 quarters in this Game 3. And yet all the pressure's on them now. Right? They played the two good quarters, and they came away with 2 wins thinking this is going to be easy. It's all on the Knicks now. They've got to win this game at home. They've got to protect their home court to whatever extent they can right now. They can't let this go back to Boston with an even series again like they did, obviously going into Game 1. And the Celtics flexed their muscle on Saturday. You got a great Tatum game. He was absolutely lacing it from 3, which is not something he's good at even when he's going well. I still don't know what you're going to get out of some of these starters. Like the prevailing thought I had for the Celtics on Saturday, even in victory, was, are they healthy enough to win this series? You look out there, Kristaps Porzingis is not healthy at all. Okay, he's a pylon, he's a traffic cone out there, especially on defense. Like, the guy is giving you absolutely nothing. He's giving you net negative right now, actually. Al Horford has not been necessarily imposing his will in this game, or in this series, I should say. And for him to go against a young, spry Mitchell Robinson, who Celtics fans have seen a lot of because we saw a lot of Robert Williams, for Al to be going up against a guy like that, that's one of the few matchups that's really tough for Al. Jaylen Brown is not even close to 100%. I think that's obvious. He's had some spurts in this series, but for the most part, he looks like he's playing in slow motion and has nothing on his 3-point shot. Nothing. So he's not near 100%. Porzingis is not near 100%. Drew Holiday is not near 100%. And Al Horford with the matchup is basically not near 100%. So that's a big concern. Like, the Celtics, of course, they're a better team than the Knicks, but they might not be healthy enough. And what's crazy is, the Cavs fans are talking about, what's the Celtics excuse? We're not healthy. I'm like, are you watching these Celtics games? Like, the guys are playing. Porzingis and Brown and Holiday are playing. And once you're playing, I guess that's no excuse. I'm not trying to totally dismiss this series if the Celtics lose it, but like they are clearly not healthy. Not even close. Not as healthy as they were at this time last year when they didn't have Porzingis at all. So it's easy to just throw out, well, all their guys are playing, but they are not healthy. On the flip side, Karl Anthony Towns, for the lip readers, is saying, oh, it's broken. Talking about his hand. I don't think it's broken, but he was clearly in a lot of pain on Saturday. He wouldn't say anything to the media. They asked if he even got x-rays, and he said, look, I'm not going to say anything about what happened in here, which means he got x-rays. And he's not going to be anywhere near 100%. And that puts, just like last year's postseason, even with some new role players, that puts a lot on Jalen Brunson's plate. Right? Because like now you have Mikal Bridges, right? Who's been good in the fourth quarter of these games. He's been dreadful in the first 3 quarters of these games. So that's just all the more put on Brunson's plate to keep them in the game. Josh Hart hadn't done much. Nova Knicks hadn't done much in this series. Puts more on Brunson's plate. Cat at 50%, playing with one hand and playing with his foul trouble. Who, again, like Brown, has been good in spurts in this series, but I wouldn't say has been excellent all the time in this series. That puts more on Brunson's plate. Like, it's going to be Brunson and OG Anunoby trying to keep them in the game for the first 3 quarters. Both teams are banged up. This is where we really separate the men from the boys. And this is where the Celtics can show their championship acumen that they worked so hard for last year, that they worked so hard to get to. This is where they show it in this game tonight. If they come out and they lay an egg or they completely choke on it like they did in the first 2 games, then I don't know how you can look at them and call them anything but pussies. If they come out and choke another game with the Knicks vulnerable in a place that you're comfortable playing in, by the way. You know, it's not home, but they're pretty comfortable playing in Madison Square Garden. They win there a lot. They play well there all the time. You put a seed of doubt in the Knicks' mind. This is a team that didn't beat anybody really good all season long. They didn't beat the Thunder. They didn't beat Cleveland. They didn't beat the Celtics. Those are your 3 teams that are capable of winning the NBA title. Now, it's funny that, 2 of them are down in the series. All three of them, are down in the series. But you know what I mean? Those are the 3 teams that can do it. Cleveland, Boston, and Oklahoma City. The title is going to come from one of those 3 teams. The Knicks didn't beat them at all in the regular season. So when the Celtics decide to get their head out of their asses and start playing bully ball like they did on Saturday, they can take this series. They can take 4 games in a row. But it all comes down to tonight, baby. Who is going to take it tonight? That's all that matters. And I found this very interesting. Some of the debates going on right now, it's all once again centered around Jayson Tatum. And I get it. Like, I'm a big time Tatum defender. But obviously he has not been at his best in this series, especially in the second half, man. In fact, he was downright bad, downright awful in the second half of games 1 and 2. But he has the opportunity to turn this around here. I thought he was great in game 3. And I think it's been a pretty disappointing series in the crunch time for both team stars. Brunson has not carried them at all. In fact, he's had a very pedestrian series. And Tatum, I think you could say the same, but he's just bad, at the end of games, which is really what it comes down to, right? And that's where Brunson makes his money as well. But neither of them have been very great. It's not like you've been able to throw in like, oh man, Brunson is him and Tatum's a bum. Like, he has not been very efficient. He was 9. Brunson game 1 was 9 of 23, then 6 of 19, and then 9 of 21. Like, that's the stat line that Knicks fans will kill Tatum for and say, oh, he's not a superstar. He's soft. If he went 6 for 19, which he has, and we've heard it, that's what people will say. But when Brunson does it and he gets to the free throw line 12 times, it's Brun's him and most clutch player in the league and MVP and Tatum's daddy It's all of that. But when Tatum does it, he's a bum. He's soft. He's the corniest player in the league. He shouldn't even be top 5. We hear that same crap all the time. And here's an opportunity for Tatum to really take the bull by the balls here, okay? For those people that still need some affirmation on Jayson Tatum, here's another golden opportunity because you know what? Everybody's watching. Everybody, the whole world is watching this series. It's going to be viewed just as much as the finals will be. Like, seriously, it will. This is the Celtics and the Knicks here. And the guy on the other side, who everyone says is more clutch than you, who a lot of people would rather start a franchise around than you, is not playing up to snub. He's not looking like an MVP candidate. If Tatum has another game like he had in game 3, this is going to, and Brunson continues on the way he's been going, does another 9 for 21, gets his points, gets his 27 points, but is not an efficient player, then we're going to start looking at Tatum, or other people are going to start looking at Tatum in a different light. They are going to start saying, maybe this guy is MVP caliber. Maybe this guy did just carry his team through a tough playoff series. Because if they win this in 6 or 7, like, it's probably going to be because of Jayson Tatum. Jaylen Brown's not near 100%. Jrue Holiday's not near 100%. Kristaps Porzingis is a traffic cone. If they win this series, it's because Tatum is putting them on his back, which is what it's seemingly everybody in the NBA media is looking for. They're literally discounting him because his team's good. Well, now this is not your Celtics of last year. This is not the same personnel. This is not the same circumstances. And if Tatum carries them, that's exactly what people are looking for. Because they would much rather see Jimmy Butler make the finals on a Heat team that's dominating, or he's dominating in the fourth quarter, than they would a top 5 player like Jayson Tatum winning a title on a really good team. So let's do it, Tatum. Like, this is your chance again. I don't think you're a bum. I think you've had not a great series, right? I don't think you're a bum, but we know the disrespect gets to you. You talk about it all the time. Here's your opportunity for Kendrick Perkins, for Steve Kerr, for Stephen A. Smith, for Tim Legler, for whomever the fuck. This is your opportunity to leave no doubt about it. Take over this series because Brunson is not, and Jaylen Brown is not. Jaylen Brown's not here to save you in this series. Guarantee it. And you're going to avoid the Cavs in the next round. The Pacers are going to win that series. Not that the Pacers are going to be a 4-game sweep like last year, but you match up better with them than you do with Cleveland. So the path is there if you can carry your team a few more times and get past this Knicks team. Jalen Brunson is leaving the door open on the narrative. All that matters is who wins the series. I don't give a shit if Al Horford carries them for the next 3 games. Don't give a shit. But if you're talking about the NBA discourse here and Tatum's moment to get himself firmly in that top 3 conversation for everybody around the league, this is the opportunity right here. Everyone outside of Boston thinks they would rather have Jalen Brunson than you. They would rather have the ball in Jalen Brunson's hands at the end of the game than they would in your hands. And while you have not shown any different, Jalen Brunson has also been pretty lackluster in this series. Now is your time to take it over. This could be more so than the last 2 NBA finals he's played in, more so than any of the Eastern Conference finals he's played in. This is the chance for Jayson Tatum to continue to write his legacy here in a positive direction. The second round has been Tatum's best round in years past, his best performances. Like, here we go. Here's your opportunity, kid. Take the bull by the horns here. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Is this Tatum series to lose? Is this the Celtics series to lose? Let me know down in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free and helps me keep my job. We are live on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then where you get your podcasts as well. Check out the other videos on the channel. Why don't you? I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. Is Zach at his seat? Is Zach here and present in the production room behind the glass here? Zach's always running around. He's doing stuff for us. He's getting things prepped. He's getting things ready. So I don't know sometimes if Zach is behind the glass. He is. He's giving me the 1 second because he's been working his ass off for this next Raffy Devers segment, and he needs to get the camera set up because we have it ready for Pete, who's coming on in the third segment. But this is important. This is not a throwaway. I need to bring Zach on here because today, NBA draft lottery. I don't know. I think he just kicked himself out. NBA draft lottery tonight. And now there's some big breaking news that could concern Zach's NBA team as he pops in here. Zach, you got me.
Yeah, I had to get the audio right. So
good. I kind of threw this at you, but it is important. I do want your opinion on this. This is not just, hey, I'm just going to bring Zach in here to throw my own opinion at him. So today, breaking news, Shams Charania, Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's two weird names in a row. Giannis Antetokounmpo has formally put in a trade request, but sources are saying to Shams that, who is the most plugged into the league, that he's ready to go. Ready to get out of Milwaukee. And I mean, if you look at it critically, that's the only thing the Bucks can do here to save this malaise is trade Giannis. And the first team that popped into my mind was Mike Hamilton's San Antonio Spurs, right?
okay.
This draft capital, they got 2 lottery picks this year. They've got all these young players they could trade, and they need guys. Like they're ready to start winning here. But the other team that's got some decent capital, that's got some young guys, that won some basketball games this year, that looks like they're ready to win. They have the young guys. They have the coach. Your Houston Rockets.
That's true.
Have you caught Giannis fever yet?
I have not caught Giannis fever, but I do know that that is one of 2 names that I hear a lot. It's that, and it's KD. And I will tell you, out of the 2, I would prefer Giannis over a older KD. The thing that it comes down to for me is which of the packages, if you're going to have to do this to, if you're dead set on bringing in one of these guys, I still don't necessarily know if you're, obviously we saw they're not ready to make a playoff run yet. They're still a few pieces away, but I don't know if this is we can get it through, the draft and free agency more, or if it's, we need to execute a trade like this to be able to take that next step. If the front office thinks that it needs to be, the Giannis move to me seems to be the smarter move. I think the one to follow is the one where you give up the fewer of these young pieces you have. I think that's what makes it good. I think what you can do potentially, though, is maybe look at moving a guy like Jalen Green. I think, unfortunately, the playoff series he had might have affected his stock a little bit, at least soured him some in Houston. And I think that you saw the way that Thompson's been able to play, that Green, they play that 4, or the 3-4 kind of like position there, more sort of a 4, and that Jalen Green might be taking a bit of playing time from a guy who obviously plays a better defense and could be your other young star to pair there with, Sengun. I think for me, it comes down to what of the young core they have to give up and how much of it you can keep it. But I think that the Giannis move makes the most sense out of these. I'm not to a point of where I feel like it needs to be done, though. Like, I think that the Rockets 37. He's my age, I think. Hold on.
Oh, okay. So he's 25.
36. He is my age. We will both turn 37 this year. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's another thing Katie and I have in common. Tons and tons of stuff we have in common.
Well, see, here's what's good for the show is the scenario that you laid out for the Rockets there. I know that scenario. Yeah. I've seen that scenario. The Celtics were the number 1 seed in 2017. That was still the Isaiah Thomas team. Isaiah Thomas and Avery Bradley and Jay Crowder, Kelly Olynyk, Al Horford, and the 2 youngsters.
It's Tatum crazy how different this team looks already in that time. But you go ahead.
Yeah. So and that team was in the same spot. Like, yeah, they were like a 3 seed. Actually, no, they were 4 or 5 seed in 16. They were 1 seed in 17. Like, they were fun, they were nice, but they were never going to get past Cleveland, ever, not in a million years. And they weren't going to get out of the East. And that was a weak East back then. That was a pretty weak East. And so it was like you're in the spot where yeah, it's fun during the 82 regular season games and the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. It's exciting, but we're not good enough. And so that typically needs a trade. And the Celtics still had a Brooklyn pick left from that trade, which was going to be a top 10 pick. And Danny Ainge basically said that. He was like, look, what we need is a star. We need a player. We need a top 20 player in this league while these guys develop. And hopefully one of these young guys, Brown or Tatum, becomes a top 20 guy. Now, thankfully for the Celtics, they both did. But that's why they traded for Kyrie Irving. Right there. They needed to do that. And did it work out? Well, not necessarily. He left 2 years later and they were kind of just where they were at the beginning. But I don't know. It did probably help in the development of Brown and Tatum and becoming star players and deciding to build around those guys and finding out what you needed and what you had. And they were much more competitive with Kyrie on the roster in those 2 years than they would have been with injured Isaiah Thomas and running that team back. And it showed that they were ready to make a move and be a championship contender, that's what they were going to need to start doing around here. That's where I think the Rockets are at.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And it's funny you bring up that pick too, because
and Giannis is only 30, I believe.
That's true. And so you got to, but I think you have another run then out of Giannis. But what the Rockets also have is the Suns draft pick.
Yes. That
is very well going to be a top 10 pick. So you can also pair that with whatever it is and I think, that could be appealing. Tonight, I'm very much interested to see how high that is. That's what I'm hoping for. Obviously, I know the Rockets aren't going to pick anywhere in the top 5, but pick 10 compared to pick 8 is a little bit more appealing in draft talks. So I'm very interested in paying attention for that. I am of the belief that right now where I sit, that they don't make a pick, that they trade that pick.
That's probably for the best, man.
Yeah.
If you're not picking in the top 5, just trade it. And that Celtics pick, I think they traded it before they knew what it was going to be. I think it was that next spring, and it ended up being number 8. It was Colin Sexton, by the way. And it was just fine, man. I'll take that for Kyrie. You traded in a nice player in Isaiah Thomas, an all-star once or twice, who had a hip injury at 5'7", Jay Crowder and Colin Sexton for Kyrie Irving. Looking back on it, you do it 8 days a week. And that's what's probably going to look for. That's how it's probably going to look for a Giannis trade, no matter who's doing it. Of oh man, if it's San Antonio, that number 3 pick in the draft, really for Giannis, but yeah, we got Wemby, and 5 years from now, and you win an NBA title, you're like, yeah, I would take that over VJ.
Can you imagine how insufferable that Spurs fans would be, though? They're essentially got the foreign version of Duncan and Robinson then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's
all the shit luck that Boston teams, specifically the Celtics, have had in draft lottery, the Spurs have had the exact opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Exact opposite. Dude. So anyway, Giannis to the Rockets. That's going to make Zach a very happy man.
It will. It will if it happens. I don't see the KD happening. I think Giannis is the only one that has legs. That's my feel on it.
Yeah, one less team for the Celtics to worry about in the East, although I was not worried about the Bucks. Anyway, coming up next, we've got Rafi Devers. He's a bad teammate. We know that. But is he the most important player on this team? It's coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to the show. It's the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week, live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. We are talking Boston sports and everything adjacent to it here on the Rogue Media Sports Network. Definitely check out the other videos on the channel. Find us wherever you find your podcasts as well. We talked a lot about Rafi Devers the last few days. Let me be clear on this. I'm not changing my stance. Rafi Devers is a bad teammate. Rafi Devers has been a bad teammate this year. He's not willing to make sacrifices to help the team get better. And we can rush to his defense all we want, but the bottom line is always going to be that. He has been asked to do something that will help the team and won't really hurt him, and he is refusing to do it. And for a team that's ready to win, a fan base that's ready to win and get back to the postseason, a team that says they're ready to get back to the postseason, the ownership, the front office, the manager. And right in front of your face, your star players aren't willing to make winning sacrifices. That's frustrating. And I think of a guy like Alex Bregman, who's sitting in there with his 2 World Series rings, who goes to the playoffs every single year of his career, has been to the ALCS all but, 1 or 2 of his seasons. And he's got to be sitting there like, how am I supposed to win with this kind of attitude? In Houston, we all bought in. Man, we were all making sacrifices. And here is the guy that's faced the franchise, not willing to play first base, which isn't easy, but it is kind of the easiest one that he can go and learn. He's already played one corner of the infield. Like, here's a guy we're not even asking him to be great out there. We just need someone to play every day that we can have a major league lineup, because if he's not out there and he's DHing, that means we have a quadruple A hitter out there every single day. Could give a shit less how he plays at first base. But that now puts, Masa Yoshida in the lineup potentially. It now puts Roman Anthony in the lineup potentially, Marcelo Meyer in the lineup potentially. We don't care if he plays defensively at first base and he's not willing to do it. Like, that's got to be frustrating for the guys in the locker room, in the clubhouse. But what did Rafi Devers do this weekend? He basically carried you to a series victory. Okay, like after you couldn't score a run against Kansas City in 12 innings on Friday night, and you had their 2 best starters coming up after that. Devers, all he does in the series is hit 600, 1,500 OPS, 6 RBI, a double, a home run, a 2-run go-ahead homer in Sunday's game that gives them a 2-run victory. He's carried them through this series, a series that ownership needed to make the trip to in order to talk to this guy. This is where it got real ridiculous, man. The FSG and John Henry ownership group flying to Kansas City so that he could meet with his GM and his manager and star player to get on the same page. Like, that's just doesn't sound like a winning organization to me. And Kevin Millar had a great rant about it. And I can't play it because it's a little long and it's going to get me flagged on YouTube. But he said, look, we went through the same thing with Manny Ramirez. He wouldn't show up for a series, like physically wouldn't show up. He was a worse teammate than Rafi Devers. But this is just a little bit of a taste of what it was like with Manny Ramirez. And we didn't hear a lot about it outside of the locker room because they were really good and, all this. But Manny was a flake. Manny was not a good teammate at any point in his career. He was an absolute clubhouse cancer. And he was also the best hitter on the team for pretty much the entire time he was with the Red Sox. He's one of the best right-handed hitters in baseball, one of the best right-handed hitters in the history of baseball. And so they dealt with it. They put up with his crap. They just had to stick him in left field because that's the only thing he could kind of manage. And they already had a DH in David Ortiz, a guy who couldn't play in the field, unlike Rafi Devers. He was a guy you withstood the crap from for a long time because he was very, very good. And they had good leaders on that team for the most part. They had a really good players manager. I know everyone thinks Alex Cora is that. Terry Francona definitely was that. It is that, I'm sure still. You had good leadership in place for those teams. But this is a little bit of a taste of what it was like with Manny Ramirez. Rafi Devers hasn't, assaulted any women that we know of yet, like Manny did. But this is a little bit of a taste of what that was like and what the team is willing to do to cover the bases here, make sure we're on the right page, and basically shut him up because he's such a talented hitter. I don't necessarily want another Manny Ramirez on my team if you are going to ask me. But if you already have one and you're saying, would you trade Manny Ramirez? I wouldn't do it. And that's why I think this trade rumor stuff from Red Sox fans, I should say, is crazy. I said on Friday's show, I wouldn't be surprised if he puts in another trade request because he almost put one in the offseason at the first position change ask. And we said, this isn't going away. There's some rift here. There's some drama here. And look, it didn't go away. It's more prevalent than ever. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to force his way out. But if this is a case of, which I've heard on Sports Talk Radio and I've heard from Red Sox fans, if this is a case of, oh man, he's bitching again, let's trade him, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It took 8.5 seasons to do that for Manny. 8.5 seasons and 2 World Series later to do that with Manny. This is year one of discontent and disgruntled superstar Rafi Devers' career. But this has just a ton of parallels to it. A ton of parallels to the Manny Ramirez situations. Now, again, Rafi has not gone AWOL on a series yet, a series against the Yankees, which is what Kevin Millar was talking about in that specific rant. But those guys didn't like him. Those guys were ready to, with Manny, I'm talking about. Those guys were ready to be we'll play without him. We'll put Gabe Kapler in left field every day. We don't care. We're sick of this guy. I wonder how far away the Red Sox teammates are from that with Rafi Devers, because he seems like a nicer guy than Manny, but the proof is in the pudding with the drama he's putting out in the locker room. This is a taste of Manny Ramirez right here. And it's a throwback to Red Sox culture of old. They've always had prickly guys like this. They have always had guys who would become unlikable to the fans after a certain amount of time and a certain amount of bitching. Okay, it was Manny. It was Roger Clemens, big time. It was Yaz to a certain extent, although he's still pretty beloved, not the same extent, but you know what I mean? It goes on through generations. It went on with Wade Boggs at the end. It happens. But this is just a little bit of a taste of what it was like with Manny Ramirez on the team. And hopefully it leads to the World Series titles that Manny also captured. But this is Rafi being Rafi. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Is this anything close to the Manny Ramirez situation? And does his play in this Royals series cover up the drama he's been putting out in this clubhouse and around this team? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and it helps me keep my job and helps us on the march towards 4,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for making it a part of your routine. Check out the other videos on the channel. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. You can find us live on YouTube every weekday, and then where you get your podcasts as well. Coming up next, Pete Souza of the Pete Souza Show will join us to talk a little NBA greater media, Celtic City, shooting guards, and all that's going on in Pete's world. That's coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
InMotion is more than just a name. It's a legacy of innovation. From supplying electric vehicle parts like motors and inverters since the 1960s to creating cutting-edge electric scooters, hoverboards, and unicycles, InMotion is shaping the future of mobility. Whether you're looking for industrial power solutions or accessible personal transport, InMotion has you covered. Explore our products and experience the future of movement. Visit store.inmotionworld.com today.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files, remove malware and viruses, and protect your device. It also optimizes your Mac's hard disk, fixes disk permission issues, and cleans memory, all to boost your Mac's performance to the max. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
Finding a sleep sack that my baby likes has been a struggle.
The sleep sack from Joy is a major upgrade.
It's all natural eucalyptus, which is breathable and hypoallergenic, which is really great for your baby's sensitive skin.
And it's made with ClimateTac, which regulates your baby's temperature.
You can also get Joy's crib sheets, which are made of the same super soft material.
Joy gave my baby comfort
and gave me peace of mind.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey, past, present, and future. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence, elevate creativity, and honor what matters most. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
And now, back to our show.
It's good to be back. Cam Stewart on the Cam Show. Pete Souza of the Pete Souza Show, ESPN, Inside the 12, all of it coming at you. Pete, it's great to have you back on the show, man.
Cam, what about Devers, dude?
What about him?
He's a real POS right now.
Yeah, he's just not a good teammate, man. So I don't know how much you've been following this. Quick recap. Okay, so you've seen, and like this Red Sox fans just rushing to defend him and blaming the GM. Like I'm not usually sympathetic with like leaders of a business or anything, but it's like, why have we totally lost our way? Like, have we totally lost what made us like a great sports town, which is not like, hey, kill the player. It's like, let's hold the players accountable. Let's want guys who want to win rather than just collect their $30 million paychecks. Like, this guy is literally, he's not on a contract year. He's set for the next 10 years. Nobody expects him to be a good first baseman, but if he plays first base, you actually get a major league bat in the lineup, and he just won't do it. He just doesn't want to do it.
It's totally screwed up, and I don't like how he's airing grievances through the media.
Zach, can we turn Pete up a little bit? I can hear him. I just would like him a little louder. That's all. Sorry,
he's a lot of airing grievances through the media, which is like totally unhealthy and toxic for locker rooms, and it just turns everybody else off. Now, look, the good news is, as you well know, like it's a 162 game season. Like this could be figured out by the end of June too. You know,
could be.
Okay.
Hope so.
You know,
hope so.
It could. But yeah, like it sucks, man. Like you got to figure out how to play first base and just do it for your team. I mean, I wonder if there's like a fear factor there. Like, who knows?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
But this was also the guy who was like, no, I play third base. You're not taking me out of the field. That was 2 months ago. He was saying,
yeah, exactly.
You know, it's
exactly.
Like, all right, then here's your chance. You're back in the field, man.
Yeah.
Like we did what was best for the baseball team. We brought in a Gold Glove third baseman. He played third base. Sucks for you, but like shouldn't be that difficult to understand. Now, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to like link it to our world. Like if I was,
do you get the impression that it's like an ego thing for him?
Yes.
Yeah. That's so fucking lame.
It sucks. I'm trying to think of our world. Like if I was hosting a morning talk show and it just wasn't getting any ratings, and they kicked me off. Like, that sucks, right? Like, that's a big career move or whatever. And then they're like, hey, we'll pay you the same amount. We want you to do the evenings. We want you to do like a 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Not great for the lifestyle, not great for the attention, but like, hey, you're still getting your money and you're doing your job. Okay,
100%.
fine. Like, what am I going to do? Not do? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yes, I will continue to do that. So anyway.
It's a selfish move, but at the same time too, like, I think we always forget like the psychological window, right? Like,
sure,
this guy might be just like a huge toddler, running around in a grown man's body. Like, we give these guys way too much credit. And I always go back to the Bill Parcells quote that his father told him. It's like, never discount stupid. It's always in there somewhere. And like, Rafael Devers might just be a bonehead, and it sucks for Red Sox fans and people in Boston, but like, that it's pretty simple and cut and dry. It's not that deep sometimes,
Parcells is great quotes, man.
I mean, a quote machine, dude.
It's great advice.
Yeah.
Great stuff you could take through life. Belichick
really
used to have
is.
those, but anyway.
Except for when he was always calling Terry Glenn she.
That was great, man. She's not practicing today.
That was crazy, dude.
I mean,
But then Terry Glenn ended up with the Cowboys when Parcells was there. Like, he was a Parcells guy in a way.
Yes, which is kind of funny. And so was Bledsoe, obviously. He wasn't as hard on Bledsoe as he was on Terry Glenn, but he would take some shots at Bledsoe sometimes.
Oh, he was hard
and then when he needed a quarterback in Dallas, who's there? But Drew Bledsoe. Yeah, and Terry Glenn was also a head case. The late Terry Glenn was a bit of a head case. So, anyway, I bring you on here to talk sports media stuff, usually is what we're talking about. So Pete Souza of the Pete Souza Show joins us. We're now
worked 3 days of the Big 12 tournament with Kat Osterman, one of the best softball players of all time. That was cool. That was a little sports media for you. That was neat.
Anything else you want to brag about?
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
anything else you want to take a victory lap on, Pete?
No, not at all. It's not that big a deal. What I'm saying is, like, I've just never worked with somebody of that ilk in their sport. By the way, she should be doing all the high level ESPN softball.
Is that all? Was the Big 12 also in Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Like the College World Series? Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. We can talk about something people are actually interested in.
Yeah.
But that was sports media. It was cool.
Pete Souza of the Pete Souza Show. You were big into Celtic City, which has now been over for 2 weeks, which means you've caught up.
Oh, yeah.
You've caught up to it. You're not a Celtics fan. Some would call you a Celtics hater. You're a big Philly and Knicks fan. But you like sports history. So now, and you like the sports media side of things. Do you remember that text I sent you when you were kind of on the home stretch in the last couple episodes?
Yeah, and you said, wait till you get to the what part?
The Mike Gorman part.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, dude.
Because you never got to a Mike Gorman part. There's no Mike Gorman in the entirety of Celtic City.
Well, there was his voice was in there a little bit. I mean, but I was like, I didn't know what you were like. Okay, that's good that I didn't miss something. I was like,
but how weird is that, man? Like, here's a guy who was part of the Celtics broadcast.
Email you back, so maybe he wouldn't do it.
Probably. I think Simmons has some contacts, but this is a guy who was part of the Celtics broadcast for 40 years, is a local Boston guy, like was always telling it how it is, Celtics fan, like all that, worked with Tommy Heinsohn, like was there for the Bird years. I don't think he traveled, but was there for the Bird years and the Patino years and the Celtics championship rebirth in the 2000s. How is he not a part of that?
They used his voice a ton, but they didn't talk with him.
Obviously. And the other thing too is you didn't get anything really. You heard a bit of the voice, but you didn't get anything about Johnny Most. Like the iconic voice of the Celtics for decades, man. How do you not get like a 5-minute tangent on the career of Johnny Most?
Well, over the course of 9 episodes.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Havlicek stole the ball. It's a steal by Bird. His ranting on the Pistons. Like you could have they did a whole thing about the Pistons rivalry. You couldn't have had Johnny Most gripping the headset. The yellow, gutless way they do things here. Like nothing on Johnny Most. McFilthy and McNasty. I think that inspired the
That's a really good point. That's
anatomy.
A really good point. Like, because I would have, like, I don't know, being a guy from Philly, like, I know who Johnny Most is. I know the calls. I know the voice. I don't know anything about him as a dude, and I'll probably do like a deep dive later on today because we're talking about this, and I love the history of broadcasters and whatnot. But that's a great point, dude.
Like that is part of it. Like we are big into the media scene, but like those homers, they're part of that thing. Like it would be, could you do like a Phillies thing and not have anything on Harry Kalas? Like that's so bizarre. You know what I mean? It's they're a part of this thing.
I'll tell you, me and my brother Michael, like, you just know a great broadcaster when you hear it. And we didn't know anything about Mike Gorman and the Big East tournament Mike Gorman would call it. Not for ESPN. It was like for whatever. Maybe it was USA Network or I forget how we got it. But we were like, oh, my God, this guy's amazing. And we would always do his impressions of big calls of Villanova games, and it was like he is just a legend, dude. He grabs you. He reaches right through the TV screen and grabs you without even trying.
He was the best, man. He was the best at letting it breathe.
Yeah.
He was so great at it. I'm trying to think of these other examples. Like, I couldn't ever do a Steelers documentary without Myron Copeland there.
Myron Copeland. Yeah.
Like, he was the best, man. Like, are you kidding? And that's 2 for the Celtics, 2 that they just completely ignore. Another one who I don't know if you're familiar with, Glenn Ordway he was the sidekick for Johnny in the 80s. Okay. And he had the biggest talk show in Boston in the 90s and the 2000s. The big show. Yeah. And was like the mainstay in Boston media for 30 years and was also on like the Bird years traveling with the team and with Johnny Most, and he does nothing. He doesn't appear in it at all because Simmons doesn't like him because Simmons does not like him.
Oh, he doesn't?
Yeah. It's because Simmons doesn't like him. And I'm like, come on, man. Can you put that aside? If I'm doing the Red Sox, though, if I'm doing a Red Sox 10-part documentary, I don't like Roger Clemens. I don't like Manny Ramirez.
Yeah.
I'm putting them in the friggin' documentary, though.
Yeah, but Kim, there's a lot we don't know. Maybe they didn't want to talk. Like, seriously.
Oh, I don't know about Gorman. Gorman could be. Ordway would talk to anybody. But yes, I see what you mean.
Okay, but like the Mike Gorman thing's a good example. Like, and you would think that Gorman would know, like, as opposed to a player, a little more about, because Cowens wouldn't do it. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
Cowens are just like, I'm not
just
doing
interesting.
It. Yeah. And Simmons was like, I think that so many of these things are floating around now. They really don't know what's what. And that's how they got Robert Parrish, was through Jackie McMullen.
Right.
And I think she had a lot to do with a lot of like, and Bob Ryan as well, right?
And hey, not for nothing, this is pure speculation, which is probably not the best thing to do here. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was something that Mike Gorman just kind of turned down. But yeah. I wonder if it's also like he knows what's coming here in terms of a portrayal of Boston. Not that it's unfair. We've talked about this on the show before, but he knows all the greatest hits are going to be played. It's going to be the busing incident. It's going to be the people shitting on Bill Russell's walls. It's Bill Russell hating, and all the, racist factions of the city. There's going to be a ton of that. Mike Gorman grew up in Boston in the 60s. Like, he served in 50s and 60s. He was in Vietnam, and then he is like, he's Boston to the core. He saw this happen firsthand. Then maybe something of like
Vietnam. That's amazing.
Yeah. And he went to UMass Boston on the GI Bill. So he was like, it could have been something like, you know what? Thanks, but I'll pass. Like,
yeah,
I know what's coming. I've done things like this before. I've kind of been there, done that. Not even like an ill will thing, but just like, I know how this
while we're talking Celtic City, there was one glaring omission that I thought they missed. Who stabbed Paul Pierce and why? Okay? Like, there was a huge rumor that Ray Benzino, who I think he started the Source magazine, was behind the stabbing. And Ray Benzino was from Boston. And that was like, there was talk behind that. Look, I got Zach's attention now. Yeah. So
Zach, do some digging on that, because I actually don't know. I don't know this.
Think about that. Like we don't know. They didn't get to a motive. They didn't get to why. They didn't get to an arrest, which I thought was pretty interesting.
In fact, it was literally just lumped into the other tragedies.
Yeah.
Len Bias, Reggie Lewis, which have no murderer there. You know what I mean? There's nobody attacking those guys, and they're just lump Paul Pierce into that.
And maybe you'd have to have a little more accountability for Paul Pierce. Maybe he had a bigger hand in it than they wanted. I have no idea. No idea. I can't tell you how much I fucking love Paul Pierce.
Really?
Love. He is now. That's a guy. I was at the Sixers draft party in 1998.
Wow.
The summer of '98. We were down at. I was a fan. My buddy's dad had season tickets, and it was like an all-you-could-drink, thing. You went down to the arena at the time. I think it was, God, I don't even know, Core State Center maybe. And you go down there, and I knew that Paul Pierce was going to be on the board for the Sixers. I think they had the second pick, and they took Larry Hughes.
That's
and I was like,
Larry Hughes.
I remember being like, that is such bullshit, dude. Like, we got Paul Pierce, like this guy, and Paul, was documented, fell a little bit. I was like,
dropped to 10. Picked him at 10.
This guy's just an absolute dog, dude. And I love him. I was even watching him. It's a shame that he's still not on ESPN, but whatever. Like, he's so good. I saw him on. I see him on that Fox show every blue moon. I see him more when he joins Cowherd. He's so cool. I love that guy.
Good Celtic. I like
a great Celtic.
Carries that on. Him and Garnett.
And really. It was very clear from watching the documentary that him and Garnett got it, dude.
Yep.
They got it.
And
they really did.
And what's amazing is, and they talk about this in the documentary, neither of those guys had won anything.
Yeah.
They had combined to go to 2 conference finals. That was it. And Garnett, you knew he had the intensity and stuff. But, Paul Pierce was, for all intents and purposes, was he that much different from Allen Iverson? A guy who everyone with, old heads of the NBA were like, this guy can't win. He won't buy into winning. And they were kind of right. They won't buy in what it takes to win a championship. Paul Pierce was that, man. He was a disgruntled, offense first, shoot 25 field goals a game kind of player. And instantly they went into great team guys. Paul Pierce was an awesome defender that year in 2000, totally bought in 100%.
Hey, what did you think about Doc Rivers? First of all, when was that interview? Because he's way bigger now.
Yeah.
But what's your overall as a Celtics fan? You think he's full of crap? You love Doc?
I love Doc.
Okay.
I do. I think there's a middle ground with Doc. I get it. People talk about how much he's choked away series in the NBA playoffs and, blown 3-1 series leads and all that. And I get it. And it was season 4 in Boston before they took off and did anything. But I think he's more like a baseball manager, one of those where you need to have a good situation. And when he is in a good situation, he knows how to get the best out of his guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And baseball managers, we will totally exclude a couple of years if we need to, with the way we look at them. And it is something to be said that Doc's teams were always in it. We're always in the thick of things. After Orlando in the first couple of years in Boston, he never had bad teams.
Yeah.
He was always in the playoffs and was in a position that he could blow 3-1 series leads. But no, he's a very good coach. I don't think he's a top 10 coach all time or anything like that.
No.
But
great man too. They didn't talk
seems
about
like a great guy, man.
They didn't talk about the bombing, right? At the marathon, but Doc was kind of instrumental in just kind of holding the fort down in the city, right? And that was after he dealt with all the stuff in LA with Donald Sterling. So he's a great CEO almost too, and
he doesn't take any shit.
No.
I don't know if they went exactly with this story, but one of my favorites was one of his first practices there. Paul Pierce is just taking a bunch of threes in practice. He's in his chair, Doc is. This is almost Red Auerbach shit. He's in his chair. He calls Paul Pierce over and he goes, Paul, let me just ask you this. Are you a good shooter? And he goes, yeah, I'm a good shooter. He's like, you're a good scorer, right? He's like, yeah. And he goes, but let me ask you this again. Are you a good shooter? He goes, yeah, I'm a good shooter. And he goes, then why the fuck are you shooting 39%? He's like, you're not a good shooter. We're going to make you a more selective shooter and you'll be a better scorer. And he did. He did do that, which is so funny. He's like, then why are you shooting 39%, Paul? And he knows how to talk to these guys because he was there. And that's the most important thing in the NBA. So before I get you out of here, Pete, just overall impressions of it. You're not a Celtics fan. I didn't think it would play well with guys who aren't Celtics fans and are really into this shit.
I thought it was amazing. And I'll tell you something. So my overall impressions were they hit it out of the park. They accomplished what they were trying to accomplish for sure. Of course, you could say we're nitpicking like crazy here.
Yeah.
It was
what we do.
real. Huh?
That's what we do.
Yeah. You have to yawn while I'm fucking a guest talking on your show.
Kind of.
At least cover your mouth, dude. So I believe that they accomplished what they were looking to accomplish, and I loved every minute of it. And I'll tell you a real God's honest truth. Me and a couple of my buddies are on this text thread, and we're old school Philly, old school Sixers fans. Another yawn.
You keep saying it, it's going to keep happening. So
our friend Kevin Gillespie was texting us about just how amazing the Celtics organization is overall. Like even when it's changed ownerships, and how awful the Sixers organization is now, and how there's a lot of guys my age who couldn't be any further out on the Sixers.
Really? Lifelong Sixers fans.
Lifelong Sixers fans, they really detest, like it's beyond apathetic now. They detest the organization, the ownership, like Josh Harris, like those guys. They have this thing of this air about them, like, the Daryl Morey, like it's an extension of the Sam, whatever that guy's name was, the guy who Sam who?
Presti.
So, no, not Sam Presti.
No, Sam Presti's the Thunder guy.
Whoever the guy was that came before.
I was so confident in that.
The guy who started the process, right? And the tanking. And then Daryl does the same thing. It's just like, it's been like this for like, they've had a couple good years. And I thought that was bullshit. I thought that they've tried to play up the recency of the Celtics-Sixers rivalry. There's been no rivalry recently. There hasn't, in my opinion. No. The Celtics have just beat the shit out of us.
So all your buddies
are an all-time low, dude. Go ahead.
All-time low.
I mean, it was worse when they lost a ton of games when Eddie Jordan was the coach. They lost a ton of games when Johnny Davis was the coach.
But I see where you're coming from. Like they've had the opportunity the last 8 years now or so to be very good, to be a championship team.
Yeah, and emotionally they suck. Like the Embiid thing is kind of embarrassing.
They're attaching to the wrong things, and
yeah, a lot of tanking. It's just like, and a lot of like, how it can get for a fan base when an organization is just like, we know better than you.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like there's no connective tissue between the front office and the fan base, and it could get fixed. It could get fixed tonight if the Sixers win the lottery.
Oh God.
But I think it otherwise will take a little while. Yeah, they seem kind of far off.
So all your buddies are really hoping the Flyers hire Rick Tocchet, and they're back on board with the Flyers.
Yes.
And Nova basketball.
Bring back the Pope. My mom knows the Pope. Like,
I heard
we're
that.
Good, dude. Yeah, we're good. I mean, Villanova really is about to experience like another ascension. This is like winning 3 championships. Like the enrollment, I would bet. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an interesting last kind of thought here because we're running long. I do wonder what kind of bump that gives. I think
it gives a huge dude.
Like Baylor,
I'm Catholic. I think it gives a big bump to being a Catholic overall.
Like Baylor, my alma mater, the one that you're very familiar with, experienced the Doug Flutie effect just through RG3.
Yes.
Like 15 years ago, and he wins the Heisman, and they're good at football, and all of a sudden everybody knows what Baylor is now. And when I started at Baylor 10 years ago, it was about 70% Texan, 30% out of state. Right now it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
That's a crazy leap, right? And they got people coming from all over because they've heard of this. They've heard of RG3 and the stadium and the football team and all that. Same thing happened at BC in the 80s with Doug Flutie. Just took them to an absolute another level.
And I'll tell you,
but that could be happening at Villanova right now. Like, think of how much that means to the Catholics. That means a lot.
Yes.
The Pope went here. Like, that's a huge deal.
It's like a Notre Dame thing. And also, too, I can tell you a school that it didn't happen to.
Yeah.
I can tell you a school it didn't happen to because I have such a strong affiliation is the University of Richmond. Like, great school. People go from all over the country there, but it's really small. Nobody really outside of that pocket and, like, the DMV area, like, Virginia, like, and again, like there's people in the Northeast who want to go but it hasn't experienced the come up like Villanova has, like, and it never will because its sports are such that they just don't command that type of attention. I don't know if they don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if they made a Final Four run, it would help. But like I've seen it with Loyola Chicago. They did the same thing and you get a little bump, but nothing sustainable like Baylor. I mean, Baylor became sustainable. RG3 leaves and they've got all of a sudden a new football stadium, a new basketball arena, a new business school, all this crap, a new Raising Cane's. Like
David Smoke, Texas High School Hall of Fame.
Pete, thanks so much for joining. Appreciate you coming on, talking a little Celtic City with us. Cut out a little bit at the end there. This has been, and it will be tomorrow, The Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, find us on YouTube and wherever you find your podcasts as well. I'm Cam Stewart, Zach Burke, Pete Souza on sometimes. We'll see you tomorrow on The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. We understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit TwoSains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.